Here in the West Bloomfield School District, we assume that so many kids are well fed as they go to school Monday through Friday and when they go home over the weekends as well on Saturday and Sunday. But even in the West Bloomfield School District, that is not always the case for every kid in our elementary, middle, and high schools. That is where Fueling Kids' Futures comes into play. And joining us to tell us more about the organization and a really fun fundraiser they have coming up very soon are Katherine Sheiko and Tracy Falkowski with us on the Splash Live. Thank you both for being with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Glad to have the both of you on. Kathy, we'll start with you. We know that Fueling Kids' Futures previously was known as Blessings in a Backpack in the greater West Bloomfield community and nearby areas. What originally inspired you to become involved with this organization and really be spearheading it over these years?
Well, when I retired, I'd worked with kids for 1,000 years, and I was looking for something that would be meaningful, that would be helpful, and certainly in my own home district that I'd been in for so many years. And I heard about what was then called Blessings in a Backpack from a friend, approached Tracy and Ellen Simmons and Kathy Clark, who are also on our steering committee, to see what they thought about it. And we decided we'd give it a try. And so we started it in 2012. And we've been doing it ever since and have been pleased with the results. You know, it's kids that come to school every day, they might get free lunch, they might get free breakfast, they might not get any of those things, but they go home on the weekend and they're hungry. And so this program is to send 6 non-perishable meals home every weekend of the school year to students who are in need. And so far, we feel gratified that we've had comments from children, from staff, from parents as to how much they appreciate the program.
And Tracy, we'll go over to you now also on this because this is an important issue for us to address in our schools. Make sure these kids aren't going home hungry any day, let alone over the weekends when we're not able to really be able to gauge that and help them out directly as we are Monday through Friday. So how do you then go about finding who these kids are that may be in need of this? Because for many of these families, you know, pride can come into it, but this is a necessity for these kids, and we want to make sure that A, they're taken care of, but B, we're also not necessarily calling them out and putting them under a spotlight in front of their classmates and their community if that's not something that they and their families want to be happening.
So we send newsletters home to the families every year, letting them know. We have all the principals that send out notifications in their weekly newsletters advertising our program. And within that newsletter, there's Kathy Sheiko's email is in there, and parents can email them. They can let the teachers know, the principals know. There's really any contact within the school district. The parents can send to get word to Kathy Sheiko, and then her and I coordinate making sure that the students' names get added to the list, and each week when they meet to pack, a bag is added for that classroom. And then the teachers do a great job of keeping it very anonymous. They'll put the bags in the students' locker or in their backpack. In the high school, we do it a bit different because the kids are so concerned about their friends knowing. They just get called down to the counseling office to pick up their food for that week.
And then ultimately they go home with this food. They end up not being hungry over the weekend, and they can come into class comfortably, or at least more comfortably, come the next week. So what, Kathy, typically are the reactions from these students and these families? You know, they get this assistance from Fueling Kids' Futures, and we know it makes a difference just on paper because they have these meals they otherwise wouldn't. But what's the true impact of this work that your organization's doing?
Well, there's been studies done when we were called Blessings in a Backpack on how it affects children. And teachers would say, kids that came to school on Monday and were lethargic or crabby or had trouble concentrating, that when they were added to the program, that seemed to change. Plus, there was studies done on test results and achievement scores. And well-fed children are happy children. They're able to concentrate more, get their schoolwork done. So there's been a number of studies that have indicated that children fed by any program, whether it's Fueling Kids Futures or Forgotten Harvest or whatever are going to perform better in school. Nobody wants to work on an empty stomach. Think about yourself. When it's lunchtime, you're hungry, right? You want to get something to eat and you feel better afterward. So we're confident that this is helping children, and teachers are seeing it in the classroom.
And I would imagine, too, collaboration is a huge part of what goes into this effort. It's not just fundraising, putting the meals together, and ultimately getting them to the students that are in need of this. Tracy, how does collaboration both within the school district but also outside in the greater community factor into being able to give these kids these critical resources for the weekend?
Well, one way is we work with every school district or every school within our district to make sure that they provide us with the names and communicate back and forth if a particular student has an allergy or has any dietary restrictions. We accommodate that the best that we can. In addition to that, we are truly a non-for-profit, so the only way that we make money and can purchase the food for the kids is by our annual fundraiser. We're fortunate enough that we're able to have one fundraiser per year. Between that and donations that we receive, we're able to feed students for the entire school year. And that has truly been one of the best ways for us to be able to continue this program. We have on November 8th, I'm sorry, it's a Friday, we have our trivia night fundraiser, and we serve dinner at 6 and then trivia starts at 7:30. The event sells out every year. It's a great time. We ask people if they want to dress up based on their team name. We just try to make it a fun event for everybody, and we do a lot of raffles, and that's how we raise money so that we can, and all the money that we do raise goes towards purchasing the food for the upcoming school year.
And it's great because you can participate in the trivia night with yourself or with your team and go after these different prizes or have a fun night, but it doesn't necessarily mean you have to participate in the trivia. You can also just contribute and be a sponsor of the event too. Again, Friday, November 8th, the trivia begins at 7:30, but there's also a buffet dinner at 6 o'clock. All this happening at St. George Greek Orthodox Church on Square Lake Road in Bloomfield Hills, and it all goes to helping fueling kids' futures for West Bloomfield and Keagle Harbor's chapter, of course, that right here in the West Bloomfield School District. Tracy Falkowski and Kathy Sheiko are with us on the Splash Live to talk more about that. And Kathy, this is an ongoing fundraiser. It is really that big one for the year. How important is this to your overall operation to maintain what you've been able to produce over these years for kids in all three different levels of our schools?
The West Bloomfield community and the surrounding community have been very generous when it comes to trivia night or when it comes to just general donations throughout the school year. I mean, we get the support of the West Bloomfield Police Foundation. We get the support of the West Bloomfield Educational Foundation, a number of private businesses that every year come through with a large donation that helps us to keep this going besides what we make on trivia night. So we feel blessed. I mean, this whole program is run by volunteers. Nobody gets a penny. So all these volunteers come every week. They pack, they put food away, they get things organized, get them sent out to the different schools, and it's all done as volunteers. And so all the money that we make goes to purchasing the food that we need to fill the bags to send home with the students every weekend.
And you can register for the event purchasing tickets of $40 per ticket. You can form a team of up to 10 individuals. That 10-person team would be a $400 purchase to enter into the trivia. And you can also get in with free raffle tickets too by donating a 10-ounce box of mac and cheese or a 5-ounce can of tuna or chicken. That will get you an additional raffle ticket, and you can get up to 5 with those donations. So not only monetary donations contributing to this, but that food also factoring into this. Kathy, we know this makes a huge impact on these kids. We've talked about that kind of at the basic level, but you've seen over the years directly how this has affected kids and these families. Are there any stories that stick out to you from over the years, from Blessings in a Backpack and now Fueling Kids' Futures, that really does fuel your passion for being involved in this?
There's one story from early on. Tracy, you'll remember this story. It's a little second grade girl at one of the schools. And the teacher was teaching, I think I know, but now I know. So the concept is you teach the child comes into the misconception about something like, now I know that spiders are arachnids and not insects. So this little girl, the teacher was doing a verbal conversation with the whole class. And the little girl said, well, I thought I'd go home on the weekends and be hungry, but now I know there'll be a bag of food in my locker. At which point the teacher started to cry and left the room. She came and told me the story, and I told the rest of the people, and we all started to cry. So this little girl not only learned the lesson about, I thought I knew, but now I know, from her teacher, but it showed what the effects were of her getting that food every weekend. And that's probably the most telling story that I repeat over and over again because it just touches your heart.
I've heard that story a few times over my years here with Civic Center TV and Lakes FM, and it does. It touches the heart every single time you hear it, and it really does kind of encapsulate what Fueling Kids' Futures is all about, and their slogan being one meal at a time. Tracy, as this organization moves forward, there's always some sort of conversation about how we can take that next step. What more can we do to help these kids? What do you think is in the cards for the future of this organization as it continues to grow in West Bloomfield?
I would just say that we're fortunate that we've been able to be as successful as we have been. We would love to help as many children as we possibly can. So if a parent is hesitant on joining or signing their student up because of fear of maybe their neighbor finding out or anything like that, we encourage families, if you're in need, please reach out. We want to help as many kids as we possibly can within the district. And that's our goal. And we want to continue to do that. So between helping the kids and then the generosity of people within the community of donating to our cause to help us feed these children, we're just so very grateful for it all.
Kathy, lastly, before we let you both go, if people want to join in on this campaign, on this effort, and help out with Fueling Kids' Futures, how can they get involved?
They can email me at Katherine Sheiko at hotmail.com. They're to get involved in the weekly program, and that's probably the best way. Or if they want to donate, they certainly can go to the website and go to West Bloomfield Eagle Harbor and donate there.
And again, that website is fuelingkidsfutures.org. Fuelingkidsfutures.org. If you scroll to the top of the page, there's a tab that says Communities. Scroll over that, click on West Bloomfield/Eagle Harbor. That is our local chapter here in the West Bloomfield School District. Tracy, Kathy, thank you both so much for your time and insight today.
Thank you. See you at trivia night.